Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Black Beacon video. So, in today's video, I already promised you guys that I am going to make a video talking about elemental reactions when it comes to Black Beacon, because a lot of you guys are confused about the whole elemental system in this game. So, we're pretty much going to do a deep dive in this video, and I'm going to explain to you guys how elements work in the game. So, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you're new here. I would really appreciate it. And let's hop right into it. So if you guys want to figure out, how to if you guys want to read more about, elements in this game, all you have to do is come over here. You select any character and then you just click this icon over here. As you guys can see, it says elements and class, right? So as of to right now, there are three different classes and there are let me see, one, two, three, four, five. There's five elements so far. So five elements and three classes. All right. So we're going to talk about the classes after we go over the elements. So first, let's talk about thunder. Okay. So it says thunder deals thunder elemental damage with each attack, applying thunder elemental anomalies to the enemy. Once the anomaly reaches its cap, the enemy takes additional damage and enters a thunderclap state, suffering extra thunder strikes whenever hit. So when you pretty much max out the thunder elemental anomaly stack, there's going to be a bar, a meter. When it's fully maxed out, you're going to start dealing damage over time. So the enemy is going to receive, thunder damage, like thunder strikes, over time. So that's what happens. So that's thunder. Pretty simple. Next we have is water. It says deals water elemental damage with each attack, applying water elemental anomalies to the enemy. Once the anomaly reaches its cap, the enemy takes additional damage and enters a stasis state, briefly freezing them. So for the water element, once you max out the water elemental anomaly stacks, once you max out the meter, you are going to freeze that enemy. This happens every single time you max out the meter. So that's pretty much the water element. Now, next thing we have is fire element. It says deals fire elemental damage with each attack, applying fire elemental anomalies to the enemy. Once the anomaly reaches its cap, the enemy takes additional damage and enters a burn state, taking fixed damage over time. So it seems like fire damage is really, really good because you can pretty much deal additional damage towards that enemy. And that's the reason why Florence is a really good character right now, is because I'm pretty sure she is a fire character. So she can essentially deal more damage thanks to her element, which is fire. And plus the enemy is going to receive damage over time as well. Now, next is light element. Now, I will say light element has to be the best one out of all of them, but we're going to go ahead and read it. It says deals light elemental damage with each attack, applying light elemental anomalies to the enemy. Once the anomaly reaches its cap, the enemy takes additional damage and enters a glare state. At the end of the duration, the enemy takes massive damage again. If the enemy's remaining HP is lower than this damage, effect triggers immediately. So I will say light damage, light element and fire, they're both pretty good. But I'll say light is way more like, I don't know, man. I just enjoy the light element a lot more because of the glaring state. I think the glaring state is really cool. But the fact that for fire element, the enemy takes additional damage is, but you guys can see for the light element, it's pretty simple. It's the same thing for every other element. You want the anomaly to reach its cap, and then the enemy will pretty much take damage over time. And then you're going to have this glare state, and it says at the end of the duration, the enemy takes massive damage. And if the enemy remaining HP is lower than the damage, the effect triggers immediately. Now, next we have here, the last one is dark element. So it says deals dark elemental damage with each attack, applying dark elemental anomalies to the enemy. Once the anomaly reaches its cap, the enemy takes additional damage and enters a dark corrosion state. At the end of the duration, the enemy takes damage based on the total damage received while in the state. If the enemy's remaining HP is lower than his damage, the effect triggers immediately. So, dark element is also really, really good because the enemy can pretty much receive um damage based on the total damage received while in the state, which is really, really nice. So I will say water dam. Now the thing is about water element, there's definitely gonna be bosses that are gonna be immune to these anomalies, because there's no way that they're going to let us freeze bosses with the water element. If that's the case, that's pretty good. But Water, the fact that you can freeze enemies, pretty nice. Thunder, I will say thunder isn't really that crazy to be honest. It's just extra thunder strikes and that's pretty much it. And then I will say fire, light, and dark are really, really nice. So that's pretty much the elemental anomalies, guys. It's pretty simple. Whichever character you're using, every single character has the ability to inflict elemental anomalies on the enemy. Lychee, for example, he's going to inflict the thunder element anomaly. He's going to inflict inflict thunder elemental anomalies on the enemy, and once it's maxed out, the anomaly stacks are maxed out. That enemy is going to receive extra thunder strikes, and they're going to receive damage over time. Good. So let's go and talk about classes now. So when it comes to class, destruction. So Lead Chi is a destruction character. It says high output offensive class. So whenever you see destruction next to a character, they're pretty much a DPS unit, right? When you see Breaker here, it says Breaker, a support class skilled in assisting teammates in attacks, right? So pretty much support. And then for assist, it says a utility class that provides damage or survival buffs to the team. So I will say assist, right? Assist is more of like a character that can it says provides damage, right? So assist is mostly about you enhancing your allies' damage. For example, you guys can see Zero, she enhances damage because of crit damage, attack increase, and etc. Azzy, also a support unit, right? Because she can increase the amount of I think she can reduce the enemy's thunder resistance, which is pretty good for Li Chi. So whenever you guys see this over here, this little meter right here, this little not meter but icon, this assist icon, pretty much means that the character is of course going to be a unit that's going to focus on amplifying your allies' damage or survival buffs for the team, which is nice. That's pretty much the whole class. The class thing is pretty simple and easy. It's really not that hard to understand. Now, here's the thing though when it comes to characters like Erishin, right? Because I want to see if you can actually combine elements and if they can both trigger reaction because when you have characters like Erishin, for example, so this unit over here, Erishin, when we take a look at her kit, you guys can see that if you combine, I think if you combine uh light element with this element, let me see. Let me read this real quick because I might be wrong here. I don't think that's the case. Read the path here. Okay, never mind. Because I thought like you can actually combine elements and you can get like a reaction out of it, but you can't. You can't combine elements. It's just that if you I'm pretty sure if you combine two elements together, you can get a reaction. I think I am right here. Let me check to see if I can actually find it somewhere in the game where they tell us about elemental reaction. So yes, guys, I was right. There is an elemental reaction that pretty much requires you to combine two elemental anomalies in order for you to get a reaction. Uh this like I ain't gonna lie, bro. They kind of fucked up on this part because they should have included this in like some sort of I don't know, they should have explained this. Like they have a tutorial that talks about the elemental reaction. But the only way you can like see more details on this, the game is lacking right now. Okay, so you come over here, you click develop, and then you click I think it's view details over here. You guys can see elemental anomaly mastering. When I click this question mark, you guys can see all the anomalies, which is stasis is for water, burning is for fire, electrocuted is for thunder, glaring is for light, erosion is for dark element, and overload, but actually yeah, overload is like a different thing. So overload is when you combine two elemental anomalies together and then you get like this explosion. So if I come over here, I'm using a website right now because for some odd reason they didn't include this in the game. There was like a tutorial in the mission. Not a mission, but like there was like one stage where they talked about this, but this should be like a tutorial that you can actually jump into and you'll be able to understand how the overload reaction works. This shouldn't be in like a stage in the story mode. I don't know. They did a horrible job on explaining that reaction. But It says over here for overload, it says inflicting 2 separate elemental anomalies on an enemy triggers the overload anomaly, causing an explosive reaction that deals additional damage to the affected enemy and reducing their tenacity. So when you take 2 elemental anomalies, you combine them together, you get overload. I'm gonna put the description right here for you guys so you can see it. But that is pretty much the overload anomaly. So yeah, those are all the elemental anomalies for all the elements: water, fire, dark element, light element, and thunder. Right? All you have to do is keep attacking over and over again with these elements, and you're pretty much going to inflict stasis, burning, electrocuted, glaring, and erosion. And then for overload, you're just combining 2 elemental anomalies to get the overload reaction. So hopefully you guys actually understand that. So first things first, we're gonna come over here to zero. All right, we're gonna come over to zero. We're gonna come to her tutorial so I can show you guys her stasis, not stasis, but her glaring elemental anomaly. But yeah, they did a, I ain't gonna lie, they did a bad job including this in like a tutorial. Because if they did, that would have made, you know, this video a lot easier for me. But since they didn't, since they don't have a tutorial for this, I literally have to come over here, do a tutorial for zero instead, which is actually kind of. So you guys can see that little bar up there, that meter, that is the light element elemental anomaly. We're pretty much inflicting um we're about to inflict glare on the enemy. So you have to fill it up so that you can get that elemental reaction. So every single time she does her 4th basic attack, you guys can see that she inflicts a huge chunk of light elemental anomaly on the enemy. You guys can see, look at that. We're halfway there. Quick basic attack, and they're already dead. So here we go. This enemy has a lot of health, so we'll be able to showcase it here. You guys can see I am building up that meter. Okay, we're building it up. Not maxed yet. So let's keep going. Use this skill. All right. Keep going again. Use this again. Use this skill. All right. And boom. It's almost full. So let's keep going. Do a little bit more. And there we go. Glaring. So now he's going to receive, you know, some damage over time. So look at this, guys. I'm going to wait for it. And boom. There it is. So that is glaring. That is the elemental anomaly for light element. When you fill up this meter, they're going to receive that huge damage once. Okay, so that's pretty much light elemental anomaly. So let's go ahead and switch on over to another character here. Our next one we have here is the thunder elemental anomaly, electrocution. So we have our boy Lychee over here. All right, so you guys can see their meter is almost filled up. We're gonna keep attacking. Okay, let's keep going. Keep going here. There we go, electrocuted. So you guys can see that the enemy is receiving that thunder damage. But I'm pretty sure you have to attack the enemy in order for it to proc. Because you guys can see when I attacked him, when I stopped attacking him, nothing really happened. But let's try it again. Let's do this guy over here. Okay, let's keep attacking him. Let's keep attacking him. Come on. Come on. Keep going. Keep going. There we go. You guys can see he has the electrocution state. So let's keep attacking him. So every single time you attack a character that's inflicted with the electrocution elemental anomaly, they're going to receive thunder damage. They're going to receive that thunder strike. So you have to attack them in order for the thunder to actually proc. If you just stand there and do nothing, nothing's going to happen. You have to attack them. Let's just keep going here. All right, let's just keep going here. Inflict it one more time so you guys can see again. All right. And sometimes it's going to take a while for that character to like fully max out that elemental anomalies bar. Characters like Zero, for example, she can do it pretty quickly. We're just going to use his ultimate. Okay. Oh, we're almost there. There we go. So we're just going to keep attacking here. Okay, keep attacking. You guys can see that thunder strike. Just keep striking him. That's pretty much how electrocution works. Pretty simple. You just keep attacking them over and over again with a thunder character. And then once they get inflicted with electrocution, you just keep attacking and they're going to get hit by thunder strikes, lightning strikes. All right, now the next element we have here is water. So for stasis, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is keep attacking the enemy, right? Keep attacking them.
Walk in the rain.
Now, I will say this character, she can fill up pretty quickly. So you guys can see we have the stasis there. So all you have to do is fill up that bar, and the enemy is going to get frozen.
Walk with
So let's
the
go ahead and
umbrella.
do it one more time.
Need an umbrella?
Pop his ultimate here. Yeah, she can proc it pretty fast with her ultimate. Let's do it again. Boom, stasis, frozen. So yeah, every time that meter gets filled up for water element, the enemy gets frozen. Pretty simple. Now for dark erosion, now this one is pretty simple, okay? All you have to do is once dark corrosion is activated, you just deal damage, and it says over here, it deals cumulative damage. Dark corrosion will deal cumulative damage based on the total damage the enemy took while the anomaly was activated. So you guys can see over here, the character, like the enemies, they don't really have that little dark aura around them. So let me just keep attacking them here. Okay, let's just keep attacking them. Attacking them. Okay, you guys can now see dark corrosion. So now you see the enemies, they have a little aura around them. We're gonna go ahead and pop this ultimate right here. And look, now they have another erosion here. So you guys can see whenever dark corrosion activates, that enemy receives a huge chunk of damage because they're essentially receiving damage. You guys saw that, right? It's at 15 damage. The enemy receives damage based off of how much damage they received when they were in that dark corrosion state. We're just gonna keep attacking here, okay? So we're not in the state, but look, now we're in it. Let's just keep attacking. You got 13 erosion, 13 erosion again. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Look at this. One step, look at that. 7, 6. So once the dark corrosion effect goes away, they're gonna receive damage. That's pretty much how it works. All right. So one more time. Look at that. 13 erosion. Going. Look at that. 13 erosion again. 13 erosion. It's like every single time you activate that erosion, they're going to receive cumulative damage they received when they were in that erosion state. Look at that. 28 erosion. All right, let's keep going. And it seems like you have like one stack right here. It says one stack, and it goes back down to like 0. So yeah, that's pretty much how dark erosion works, guys. It's pretty simple, man. Just keep attacking that enemy over and over again, and then once they're out that state, they receive dark corrosion damage. And now for fire element, okay, so we're pretty much going to use Florent here. So for fire element, once again, when you're inflicting that fire elemental anomaly, you guys can see the fire symbol right there. The character's pretty much going to receive burning damage based off of your character's HP. So just keep attacking here. Okay, let's just keep going. Hopefully you can actually keep going, right? And then I can actually like inflict that burning on the enemy so you guys can actually see it. Because these characters are dying way too fast. With this character. Okay, she's fire. Okay, so she's building it up a lot faster. Here we go. Look at this, guys. Look at that burning. Okay, you guys can see enemies will receive damage over time. Look at that. Okay, you guys see that burning right there? Gonna keep doing it. Okay, come on, keep going. I'm just trying to build it up. This is so annoying. They need to add a tutorial, man, for elemental anomalies. This is so stupid. Okay, let's proc it here. Come on. Okay, so you guys can see we got that burning again. Come on, bro. Okay, let's just try it against this big dude over here. Hopefully her ultimate can actually inflict it. Okay, it didn't. That's fine. Nothing happened. So for enemies can actually be immune to negative stats effects like elemental anomaly. But look, guys, we got that burning right there. Let's go ahead and switch back to Florent here. If we can actually inflict it. There we go. Wait, it didn't happen yet. This is so annoying, dude. Come on, dude. I'm just trying to get that burning. Rock. It didn't happen, man. Come on, dude. Come on. I just want the burning to happen. Please, Lord. Just let me do it, bro. For the video. There's just so many enemies. Okay, now finally. So this guy has unlimited HP. Perfect. Okay, let's
In
inflict
the
that
name of
burning.
Florence.
So you guys can see when it comes to Florence, you know, her fire meter takes a long time to build up,
The
to be
forest is
honest.
burning.
Yeah, it takes a long time to build up. But look at that. We got that burning now. Look at it. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, man. Burning deals a lot of damage, bro, because it deals damage over time. Plus, you pretty much have like the enemy can receive additional damage when they're in that burning state, which is really, really good. So I will say that the damage over time for burning is pretty nice because it's based off of your character's max HP.
Fire
Not
is
max HP,
burning.
but their HP. It's really, really nice. So let's click that one more time. Boom. There we go. 1,560 damage, man. Keep attacking here. Look at that. Nah, burning is crazy. So yeah, guys, those are pretty much all the elemental
May the
anomalies.
souls
All
of
the
the
element
slain
anomalies.
guard
So
you
far, there's only
blooming
6.
flowers.
Are they going to
This
implement more
glory is the
elemental anomalies in the
finest
future?
crown.
I have no idea because they did say elemental anomalies. So they might implement more in the future. Who knows? But as of to right now, there's only 6 and there's only 5 elements. The 6th elemental anomaly, which is overload, is you combining 2 elemental anomalies. Make sure you guys remember that. But hope this video is able to help you guys out and help you guys understand how the whole elemental system works in this game. It's pretty, I wouldn't say it's complex. The only thing that's complex is the overload elemental anomaly, and I will say dark corrosion, but that's pretty much it. Everything else is pretty simple. Water is simple, fire is simple. Uh, what else? Light element is simple too. Lightning, thunder is simple. Yeah, those are the only 2 complicated ones, but that's pretty much it, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate it. I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Adios.